My mother-in-law makes really bad food for me. One day, I swapped my sandwich with my husband's. My mother-in-law regretted it right away. Hi, I'm Claire, and I'm 34 years old. Let me tell you about the time I decided to get back at my mean mother-in-law, who was determined to make my life miserable. I tried to be patient and ignore her behavior for a while, but eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. Let me explain a bit. Whenever my mother-in-law gave me something, it was never very good. Like at our wedding day. This present is from my mother-in-law Justine. Let's see what's inside. Oh, it's a used spatula. Well, thank you. And on my 31st birthday. Justine, you really shouldn't have. What's inside? Oh, it's what exactly is it? It's a shovel, dear. Ah, how nice, but it looks a bit old. I later discovered she took it from the neighbor's shed and gave it to me. Another time, when I hosted a dinner party, she brought the cheapest bottle of wine she could find. At that point, I wished she wouldn't bother doing anything for me at all. But what really bothered me was the time she insisted on cooking for me, only for the food to taste awful every single time. At first I was understanding not everyone is a great cook, and that's okay, I thought. It's the thought that counts, not necessarily the taste. But then I learned that the same dishes she made for me tasted amazing when she cooked for other people. After trying to convince myself otherwise for a while, I realized she was intentionally making my food taste bad. Claire, try my casserole. I made it just for you. I'm really full from all the food you've given me, please, just take a bite for me. I reluctantly took a bite, feeling uneasy about what might happen next. As expected, the casserole tasted terrible. It made me wonder if she was trying to harm me with it. You might be wondering what my husband thought about all of this. Well, he didn't believe me. I didn't blame him. It's tough to accept such a strange idea, especially when it's about your own mother. But I kept asking him to try the food she made for me, hoping he'd see what I meant. Every time he dismissed me, saying I was imagining things. Sometimes he'd almost try it, but Justine always stopped him. Hey, that food is for Claire. I made it just for her, you know, considering her dietary needs. Yes, I have specific dietary needs because I'm a vegetarian, but I married into a family that loves their meat. So whenever there's a big family meal, my mother-in-law, Justine, would make a separate dish for me, which I appreciated, but it always seemed like she didn't put much effort into it. After realizing she was messing with my food, I tried to understand her. Maybe she was upset about having to make a special dish for me, but that didn't explain why she gave me terrible gifts all the time. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt until a few months ago, when I invited a coworker who's also a vegetarian to a family cookout. Justine made 2 vegetarian dishes, one for my coworker and one for me. I tasted my coworker's dish secretly, and it was delicious. But mine? Awful. It was clear that Justine could cook well. When I told my husband Liam about it, he just brushed it off. Oh come on, Claire, you're overreacting and being a bit rude. I'm telling you, she's intentionally messing with my food. She doesn't want to make good food for me. Even if the food isn't great, which I doubt, what do you expect from her? She's just one person. Maybe you could help her out in the kitchen, especially with vegetarian dishes. I've offered to help many times, but she gets defensive and thinks I don't like her cooking, which I don't. And when I suggest things, she gets upset. There's no pleasing her. Maybe you should bring your own food to gatherings then, even if it seems rude. It's not like you have a serious allergy, you're just a vegetarian, and everyone can make vegetarian food. But remember Lucy, your coworker, she was nice. Yeah, Lucy's food was great, even the vegetarian dishes. They both took a moment to think about everything. Liam sat down on the bed, thinking deeply. Well, say something, Liam. Look, you're my wife, and I love you. I want to trust you, but I think you might be imagining things. I understand that my mom can be odd with gifts, but sabotaging your food? That's really messed up and dangerous. It is. Exactly one time, I swear, I smelled bleach in my food. I had to make an excuse to go to the bathroom so I wouldn't have to eat it. Claire, maybe because you and my mom don't get along, you're seeing her differently than the rest of us. She's a fantastic cook. I agree. After trying Lucy's food tonight, I'm sure she can cook well. But for some reason, she doesn't put in the effort with me. Enough. I won't let you talk badly about my mom anymore. She's a great cook, you're imagining things. I was frustrated. How many times did I have to convince him I was telling the truth? I decided to prove it. I waited for the next family gathering to make my move. About a month later, my mother-in-law called. I'm good, thank you. How about you? Oh, I'm excited. We're having another family gathering this weekend to celebrate Uncle Jay's return from France. Can you and Liam make it? Of course, Justine. We wouldn't miss it. Oh, that's great. Uncle Jay prefers simple things, even though he's from France, so we're keeping it casual with sliders and sandwiches. You can even bring your coworker friend again, she was lovely. Unfortunately, she can't make it this time, but Liam and I will be there. Oh, that's too bad, but I'm glad you both can come. Oh, one more thing before I forget. I've decided to get you some special plates to make it easier to separate vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes. They're beautiful, mint blue plates. No problem, Justine. Thank you. After hanging up, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. Normally different plates wouldn't bother me, but knowing what I knew about her, I realized it was just another way for her to make me feel isolated from everyone else. Everyone else in the family always enjoys their meals, but mine are always terrible. So when I complain, I look picky and fussy, but that's not true. There are rumors going around that I'm just being difficult, and I wish I could prove them wrong by sharing my food. But Justine always stops me and gets upset if I don't eat what she made. Sometimes I manage to avoid eating it, but usually, I have to force it down quickly to avoid tasting it. Whenever I visit, I dread it, and can't wait to leave and make my own food. But this week it was different. I was excited because I had a plan to show everyone that I wasn't making things up.